Well, if you followed Xavier this season, then Wednesday night looked very familiar. Xavier, another winnable game, another quadrant one opportunity that gets away from the Musketeers late. They fall here at Madison Square Garden to St. John's in overtime, 79-71. This was a game where Xavier came out of the gate strong. They shot 50% from the field in the first half. They led by 10 at the half, led by as many as 16 in the second half before St. John's stormed their way back. Xavier, really no production from its bench. You'll hear from Sean Miller later. He addressed that in his post-game press conference. Xavier just 2 bench points. The bench combined to shoot just twice, going over 2. Jerome Hunter hit a couple of free throws late, but it was crunch time where Xavier faltered. St. John's turned up the pressure with a full court press, and Xavier really couldn't handle it. 14 turnovers on this night as St. John's comes back behind Kadari Richmond's big night. He had 19, 3 other Johnnies scoring 16 for Xavier. Ryan Conwell got going. He had 21, and Dalen Swain, a big moment in this game, he had 16 points before suffering what Sean Miller called a sprained ankle with 3:30 left in regulation. Swain was a big presence, 16 points. He was in double figures for the 5th time in 7 games, but he goes out, and Xavier really had no one to replace that production as they fall by 8 here to St. John's. And for Xavier, this would have been a big building block. It would have been a 4th straight win. It would have been a 3rd straight victory on the road. It would have been a 2nd straight quadrant 1 victory after beating Marquette and Milwaukee over the weekend. Instead, it's another close loss to a ranked opponent and another one on deck as UConn comes to Cintas Center on Saturday.
We weren't the same team at the end as we are throughout. Again, I credit St. John's, but that's really plagued us throughout this year. A long time ago, 1987, when I played this game, it was brought to me that it's called game pressure. And I remember thinking as a player, that makes a lot of sense. It's time, score, crowd. Oh man, there's a lot at stake. Possessions are sacred. And you want a team, and as a coach, you want to be about the same in that moment as you would be early in the first half. We aren't. And I wish I could do a better job of allowing that to happen with our team, because if you followed us, a lot of games went exactly like the game tonight. And I credit St. John's for making that game pressure real, but we have to be able to pass the test. We run a press offense. For 30 possessions, we had a guard take it out. When Kadari Richmond scored, and I think St. John's took the lead for the first time, we had a big take it out. Game pressure. We are a very good free throw shooting team. Tonight it was on full display. But free throws in the last couple of minutes with game pressure, that's the moment of truth. We didn't make it. And our turnovers, to be able to play against St. John's and take great care of the ball gives you a distinct advantage. If you followed the game closely, that's what we did better than any other part. But we end up with 14 turnovers. Most of our turnovers came in that end of game situation and scenario in overtime. Game pressure. We're not good in that. And I thought that really hurt us. And again, we ran quality offense throughout the game, but they took their pressure up to a level where we struggled to make a pass, to get a clean shot, to be able to run anything. A lot of it is St. John's, giving them credit, but again, I'll go back to my final point, and that is we've been in this situation quite a bit. For whatever reason, we can't get better in that area. By the way, against Marquette, that we just won, we did the same thing. We just hung on. You know, trying to play guys like Davion McKnight and Ryan Conwell for 40 minutes against St. John's with what I described is a very tall task. And being able to get production, like in that overtime game, our bench didn't score a single field goal. That shit is stupid. To be able to win in this level, you have to be able to get a guy that can make one basket who doesn't start the game. Again, game pressure. At the end of the game, subbing, being able to get production from some guys who don't play. His x-rays are negative. He has a sprained ankle. Obviously, two parts to that. We're worried about, where we go from here. We'll take care of his safety. I don't know how much time he'll miss, but it looked like he had certainly a sprain. And the timeliness, the time that he went out in the game, it just once he left tonight's game, that hurt our team.